What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Prompt Engineering for Creative Directors video. Today I'm going to be breaking down how I used AI to assist me with creating another YouTube video that I actually put up earlier this afternoon, where I broke down this complex magazine campaign featuring Lil Yachty and James Blake. My name is Chris Drago. I run a brand called Pathos of Things. I've been running it for about 5 years now, and I make videos on YouTube documenting my process so I could get 1% better every day at being a creative director, art director, and brand owner. I'm also a huge nerd, and I use AI every day to help me with complex tasks. And I think that being transparent about cutting-edge AI technology and niche knowledge around AI is very important. Prompt engineering is the process of designing and refining the inputs or prompts given to an AI to achieve your desired output. Think of it as crafting questions or instructions that guide the AI in generating responses that are relevant and useful to you. So before I pull up Obsidian and Claude, which are the two tools that I'm going to be using today, I just want to very quickly elaborate a little bit more on the concept of prompt engineering and explain the specific prompts that we're going to be using today. The LLM or large language model that I'm using today is Claude 3.5 Sonnet. There are three main components of today's prompt engineering session, which are the custom instructions or system prompt, in-context knowledge in the form of docs, TXT files, or PDFs, and a user prompt, where we actually trigger or query the AI. The custom instructions or system prompt tells the AI how to behave, what kind of language to use, and what role to play in the conversation. The AI then uses these instructions to shape its responses. Here's the system prompt that we're going to be using today. I'm using Markdown format, as you can see here. If you're unfamiliar with Markdown format, one hashtag represents a main idea and the two hashtags represent the sub-idea within that main idea. So as you can see here, I have three main ideas represented by these three single hashtags. The full system prompt reads as follows. My goal, the user, is to become a better art director, creative director, and fashion designer. Assume we're colleagues and we are experts in the fashion industry. I like to think in systems. I use system maps to categorize and organize information to distill complex concepts. I am most comfortable when I have clarity on the entire picture from a holistic view to minute layers of abstraction. I will send you photos and we will analyze them together. Follow the image study template in your knowledge. The image study template, which I'll get to in a second, looks like this. Keep communication clear and effective. Do not overcomplicate things. So basically, this system prompt is going to have the AI act as an expert creative director. We're colleagues and we're working together, and specifically asking for system maps is going to break a very complex topic into several different categories or buckets, which makes it easier to understand. When you understand all of the components of a complex system, you unlock the full understanding of the entire picture. So after we set the system prompt, we then add the in-context knowledge. When you upload a file, the AI can reference and use that information in its responses. Specifically, we're going to have the AI reference this image study template, which is a TXT file I created using Markdown format. Claude then saves all this information in what's referred to as the project knowledge. As you can see here, this is the image study template. And then this is where you can add the system prompt or custom instructions. I added other files to the project knowledge, but these are not relevant for today's example. Once the system prompt, the custom instruction, and the in-context knowledge have been set, these then get triggered with a user prompt, which is what we're going to say to the AI in order to start the conversation. The user prompt we're going to use today is as follows. Let's do an image study, follow the image study template. I've attached two images. Here's the context. This will make way more sense and be more digestible once I open up Obsidian and Claude and show you in the back end. But before I do that, I'm going to explain the flow one more time. First, we're going to send a message to the AI. This is called the user prompt. Then before the AI gives us a response, it's going to reference the project knowledge, which again contains the custom instructions or the system prompt, as well as the in-context knowledge, like the image study template. Then the AI will take all this information and craft what we hope is the goal output. What you're looking at here is a software called Obsidian. It's like Notion, but in my opinion, it's way more powerful. On this right panel here, I've embedded Claude by Anthropic. It's an LLM or large language model, just like ChatGPT. On the left panel here is a document, just like a Word document or a workspace in Notion, where I can store images and whatever information I want. I already went through this entire process with Claude, so I'm going to show you the exact prompts that I use and read the exact conversation. First, I started by creating a new project in Claude that I then named the Image Study Project. This project uses Claude 3.5 Sonnet. There are other models such as Opus and Haiku, but for today's video, we're not going to use those. As you can see in this project file, I have multiple chats where I did multiple image studies, and then the project knowledge is here. If I press edit here, this brings up the custom instructions or the system prompt, which I already read. All I did was copy and paste that into this project, and then I added the image study template as well. I started this conversation with the AI by dragging in the images I wanted to study and then copied and pasted my user prompt. Remember Markdown format, so one hashtag represents one main idea, two hashtags represents a sub-idea, and so on. The prompt reads as follows. Let's do an image study. Follow the image study template. Remember, the image study template has already been added into the project knowledge, so the AI knows to reference this. Sub-idea. I've attached two images. Here is the context. First image, cover photo for Complex magazine featuring Lil Yachty and James Blake. Second image, James Blake and Lil Yachty editorial photo for cover story. Then I added the team that was listed on Complex's website, as well as an excerpt from the article, which you can access for free at complex.com. At the end of the prompt, I added user notes. Here are my thoughts that I added. Lil Yachty and James Blake recently released a joint album. This cover story is part of their press run. The cool tones in the photos create a relaxed vibe that is mirrored in the video of the interview. In the video interview for the cover story, the two artists sit on comfortable cushioned chairs and have a very casual and funny conversation. It's clear that they're friends in real life. The title of the cover story, Habitual Line Steppers, is a reference to an iconic Charlie Murphy quote. It likely ties into the theme of Lil Yachty and James Blake breaking boundaries in music and fashion, aka crossing the line. Once this is all in here and we're ready to go, I pressed enter, and then Claude gave me back this response, which broke the image down into sections, including styling and set design, color theory, brand identity and consumer culture, and then provided key insights including visual storytelling, brand alignment, symbolic elements, mood setting, and cultural fusion. I think I was a little disappointed that it didn't really mention that much about the Habitual Line Steppers headline. So I said, add a few bullet points about the headline Habitual Line Steppers, and then Claude went in on the analysis for the headline. Next I asked, what can you tell me about the set design and symbolism in the photo with the escalator? It gave me a bunch of ideas, but I wanted to go deeper, so I said, let's keep discussing the escalator as the central motif. It would appear that the artists are descending on the escalator. However, it's impossible to tell because it is a photo. I would guess this was all set up with intention. What do you think? And then Claude went even deeper. I think some of these points are maybe a little too deep, like metaphorical duality, ascent versus descent. This ambiguity could symbolize the ups and downs in the music industry or their artist careers. I think that's maybe a little bit of a stretch. I noticed then that it started to hyper focus on not knowing whether these artists are going up or down on the escalator, but I'm assuming that they're coming down on the escalator, which is something that I mentioned in my breakdown where the descent of them walking down and crossing the lines or coming down on the escalator is actually intentional to show that they're grounded and down to earth. So I said, let's assume the artists are descending on the elevator. Look at the photo again and form an opinion with this new information in mind. And then Claude said, certainly, let's re-examine the image with the assumption that Lil Yachty and James Blake are descending on the escalator. And then boom, right away, this is what I was looking for, grounding effect. The descent could symbolize the artist bringing their music down to earth or making it more accessible to a wider audience. So Claude matched my vibe and knew exactly what I was talking about because I properly prompt engineered. The AI is extremely smart. It just really needs you to point it in the right direction. Okay, so that's it for this prompt engineering for creative directors video. If you learned something new or found it valuable, please subscribe. It helps me out so much. If you have any questions or want me to explore another concept in depth, please leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll see you in another video.